Glenn, what is one property of a rhombus?
All of these are...
Your name's not Glenn.
Okay. Yeah. Or is it? Maybe
All sides are congruent.
Okay, so I've already marked that. Yes, all sides are congruent. Caleb, what's another property of a rhombus?
Diagonals bisect the angles.
Yes, very good. The diagonals bisect the angles. So arc, 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 arc. Then double arc, double arc, double arc, double arc.
Never mind.
That's what it looks like for diagonals to bisect angles. Taylor, what's the last property of a rhombus?
Are the diagonals equal?
Nope, not in a rhombus. Well, the sides are equal. We've already said that.
The right angle.
Where?
Diagonals.
What's that word?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular. The diagonals are perpendicular in a rhombus.
You got it right.
So luckily today you get to use your family tree on the quiz, but you will not on Friday. So those need to be committed to your memory by Friday. Okay? So what happens in a rhombus is kind of cool.
Okay.
In a rhombus, I didn't mean to put that one, this one, highlighter. In a rhombus, when you draw the diagonals, you get 4
Right triangle.
right triangles, not isosceles, they're not. That's a rectangle. You get 4 right triangles, and they're all the exact same triangles. It's quadruplets. We have quadruplets. All 4 of these triangles are the same. This one is the same as this one, is the same as this one, is the same as this one. So that's good to know when you're trying to solve for missing pieces of your rhombus. Okay? We already know angle Z, it's 90. Zach, what's angle X? What kind of color on it?
Oh, that's cool.
What's angle X?
Angle X. Oh, no, that one. That's 53.
53, very good. Any questions about that angle being 53? How we got it? Opposite angles are congruent and they're bisected. So all 4 of these are 53, 53, 53, 53, 53. Say that 4 times fast. Cynthia, what about angle Y?
37.
Yay! How'd you get 37?
Because one is 90, one is 53, and minus, if you add that up and
Yeah.
subtract 180,
Copy.
37.
Awesome. So Cynthia's saying we've got a right triangle. One of its angles is 53. There's a slightly quicker way to get it. How can you get 37? 90 minus 53. Or you can do like Cynthia said and add those up and subtract from 180. Now that we know that that angle is 37, all 4 of these are 37 because they all have a double arc. So in a rhombus, other than 90 degrees, there's really only 2 different angles in a rhombus. There's the 90-degree ones in the center, and then all of the angles that are created by the diagonals are either 1 or its complement. They're either x or 90 minus x. Okay, let's look at our family tree. Jenny,
Stop lying.
you didn't look in the absent word folder yet?
Of course you did.
Wait, the same what's
Rectangle, rhombus, square, but you get to use your family tree. Okay, so let's do the properties of a parallelogram first with our hand signals. Ready? Property number 1 of a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. Property number 2. Opposite sides are congruent. Property 3. Opposite angles are congruent. Property 4. Consecutive angles are supplementary. And property 5. Diagonals bisect each other. Very good. So you should have already memorized these 5. You probably haven't memorized the other 5 yet, but you're going to work on that. How many properties does a rectangle have total?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Because you've got to remember that he gets all the properties of a parallelogram. They translate down. It's like, you know how you inherit traits from your parents?
Yeah.
Certain things your parents do, you just can't help but do because you inherited it.
Yeah.
The rectangle inherits all 5 properties of the parallelogram, but then he gets 2 bonus ones. So one of his bonus ones is
all 4 angles.
4 right angles. 4 right angles. And the other bonus one is
Diagonals are congruent.
diagonals are congruent. Now, sometimes it's hard to keep track of which shape are the diagonals the same length and which shape are they not. So just remember, because I was showing you yesterday, just remember, if the shape is standing up straight, that shape's diagonals are congruent. So which shapes does that apply to? Rectangle, square. Those diagonals are congruent. When the shape is leaning over, the diagonals are not congruent, like in a rhombus and parallelogram. The diagonals are not congruent. Congruent diagonals, not congruent diagonals. Okay, and then we already talked about the rhombus properties on the warm-up. When you draw the diagonals of a rhombus, you get 4, we talked about this, right triangles. So you might want to write that on your family tree. You get 4 right triangles. In a rectangle, we talked about this yesterday, when you draw the diagonals, you get 4 isosceles triangles. Am I ever going to ask you on a quiz, when you draw the diagonals of a rectangle, what do you get? No, I'm not going to ask you that. But knowing that those are isosceles triangles, those can help you find missing angles, because the base angles are congruent. So that's why it's important to know them, not because I'm going to ask you that exact thing, but because that will help you find missing sides and missing angles. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's make sure we understand our properties. Thomas, go drag one of those phrases to the correct box. Yellow are our rectangle properties and blue are our rhombus properties. If you drag and drop it in the wrong box, it'll shoot it back at you. Parallelogram, there you go, good. Parallelogram has congruent diagonals, then it's a rectangle. Because remember, it's standing up straight. Okay, Blake, T, go do one. Uh-oh, try again. You can pick a different one or that same one.
No, you got it.
It just, you put it in the third box and it wanted to go in the first. Perfect. If a parallelogram has one diagonal that bisects the angles, then it's a rhombus. Awesome. Amy, do you want to do one? Thank you.
Why did you tell the other guys that he asked if she wants
If a parallelogram has perpendicular diagonals, then it's a rhombus. I get it. Louise, you're next.
What?
Jenny.
Oh, never mind.
Addison.
How would it go?
Okay, but the last one is, you can go drag the last one, but we're all going to know where it goes, unfortunately. Sorry. I'll call your name later. I'll call everyone's name today, I think. It has one right angle.
Ooh, that's wrong.
No, you had it right. Try again. You just didn't put it all the way in the box. All the way in. There you go. Yay! Did we talk about that yesterday?
Yeah.
If a parallelogram has one right angle, then it's a rectangle. Is that okay with you guys?
If it's got 1, then it's got 4. If it's got 4, it's 1.
Oh, okay. So maybe we already talked about it. If it's got one right angle, then opposite angles are congruent. So now it's got 2 right angles. Consecutive angles are supplementary. What's the supplement of 90? 90. Oh, and then opposite angles congruent. So if it's got 1, it's got 4. So that goes there. And then one pair of congruent consecutive sides? What does that mean? Congruent, consecutive, confusing, right? Are you confused?
No,
Okay.
not really.
You're not confused at all?
Not really.
It's just 2 C.
If this parallelogram has one pair of congruent consecutive sides, that means this. Boom, boom. Congruent consecutive sides. Now what happens? It's a parallelogram, so opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides, so 1 tick mark, 1 tick mark. Opposite sides congruent, 1 tick mark. Oh, so now it's got all 4 sides congruent. So now it's a rhombus.
Rhombus.
It's not a square, it doesn't have right angles. Okay. Let's check our homework answers.
What happened to my
I did it because we're young.
Well, Blake knew it.
We're from the new age.
Okay.
Well, Blake knows a lot.
Of course, it's still later.
Okay, so which ones can I go over?
27.
27, let's start there. Let's all look at 27, please. 27. Measure, first of all, Cole is a square. You have to figure out what shape am I working with, and then you need to go to your family tree for that shape. Now, square, there's nothing on your family tree because he gets all 10 properties. Square gets all 10. Measure of angle ACO.
So Cole's the president.
Yep.
Stanton, you're really tired of shapes. Honestly.
Very.
I love it. I get tired of them, but then by then we're on to the next unit, and I don't have to talk about them for a whole nother year. It's like Christmas, sometimes you get really tired of like all the Christmas songs and stuff, and then you're like, and then by the time it comes around again, then you're like ready to celebrate
I don't like
again.
how they start like selling like Christmas trees at Hobby Lobby in like July.
Yeah,
That
okay.
bothers me.
I agree. Hey guys, what's this angle? What's this angle if this is a square? It's 45. Because in a square, all angles are 90. And all angles are bisected. So if you bisect 90, you're going to get 45. 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. Measure of CLA, 90. Okay, give me another problem.
24.
24?
What about 30?
Yeah. What shape is it this time? Oh, it's a rhombus. So we need to make sure we understand it's a rhombus. Measure of LEF, so they give us this angle, and ELS, and they give us this angle. Angle 1 and angle 2. That's what I'm going to call them. Do we set them equal? Do we add them to equal 180?
They
Add
are.
them to
You set them.
equal No,
Yeah.
add them to.
You set them.
They're the same.
Set them.
Okay, guys, this is a rhombus. In a rhombus, you get 4 right triangles. Yes, you get 4 right triangles. Hey guys, if I give you a right triangle, and this is angle 1 and this is angle 2, what's the relationship between angle 1 and 2?
1 plus 2 equal 90.
They add to equal 90. That's what Lauren said too. They're complementary. Angle 1 plus angle 2 is 90. If I gave you this triangle and I said that was 70 degrees, oh, that works out nice. If that's 70 degrees, how much would that be?
30.
20.
20.
Because you would do 90 minus 70, and it would be 20. So if I give you angle 1 and I give you angle 2, what would you do with them?
You would
Add
They're
them
complementary.
to equal 90. So that's what you do. Yes, they're complementary. Very good. 3y plus 9 plus 2y minus 9 equals 90. Now could you say this one plus 90 equals 180? Sure, if that makes more sense to you, if you want to add up all 3 angles to equal 180, awesome, go for it. Can I answer any questions about why those add to equal 90?
No.
Okay. Next one, next problem. Give me another problem. Stop. Are you going to throw that?
No.
Next problem. Yes. 23, let's talk about it. 23, ELS and FLS. Okay, you always need to go back to, hey, what shape am I dealing with? Then go to your family tree. Hey, on my family tree, what's true about a rhombus and its angles? Bisect. So what do we do with that angle and that angle? Set them equal. 3, oops, I don't know why I did that. Here we go. 3x minus 2 equals 2x plus 7. And just go from there. Anything else?
Those are diagonal to each other.
No, this is called a diagonal, and this is called a diagonal. When you connect the 2 opposite angles, it's called a diagonal. Blake, last question.
So random.
It's okay.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that,
Can you ask me that later? I don't want to go through working all of that to prove you wrong, but you'd get negative 18. You can't just turn a negative into a positive. 3y plus 9 equals 2y minus 9. Subtract 2, you get y plus 9 equals negative 9. You subtract 9, you get negative 18. Don't do that. Don't do it. Okay, let's go back to my slides. Let's do some more things. Find a scratch sheet of paper. Well, it's not worth getting out whiteboard just for these 2 slides, okay? Just find some paper, and I want you to find out, I want you to decide which one of these are, for sure, parallelograms, and write it on your paper. So like maybe you think A, B, and D. Maybe those are the parallelograms. Write down on your paper which ones are for sure parallelograms.
Like, if there wasn't a diagonal line going through C, would that be the diagonal?
Just connect the angles and that's the diagonal.
Yeah, but like, you said
What is small?
the diagonal angle is
The diagonals bisect the angles. The diagonals cut the angles.
I thought you meant diagonal.
Blake R, go circle a parallelogram. Tyler, go circle a parallelogram. Adriana, go circle a parallelogram. Huh? I'm just pausing.
God bless.
Except yes, it's 3.
I wish somebody's moment with a
They wouldn't give it away here.
like said God bless you. Dude.
I'm scared.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's all they can
The worst thing that could happen is you get it wrong, and then we just talk about it. It's okay.
nice.
Okay, let's talk about it.
A minute ago.
Let's look at A. Do we have enough information to say A is a parallelogram? We have a checklist. If y'all keep getting distracted by the pixie sticks, then they need to go away, not be in sight.
I'll take one of those.
This is my last one.
Let him enjoy it.
It's sad.
Caleb, we are now officially off task, and it is because of you.
No, it's because of the pieces.
Okay, in this parallelogram, I have one pair of consecutive angles supplementary. Is that enough to say it's a parallelogram?
No.
It's not enough.
And plus-
Because what could happen is I could make this angle be, I don't know, 70, and so this angle would be 110. Those add up to 360. That's a quadrilateral, but that's not a parallelogram. So having one pair of angle supplementary is not enough. So A is not a parallelogram. Tyler, which one do you want to choose instead? Got 4 left.
B. Really?
He's like looking around. Do you want to choose one? Which one do you think? You don't know? Okay, Catherine.
One of them.
D? Oh, now you'll feel better because she got it wrong too. Okay, so in D, we've got one pair of opposite. Oh no, my camera went out.
Drop it away.
I know which one's a parallelogram.
Because it only has one pair.
How long has my camera been out? I hope not very long. Oh no. Okay, so it's not D anymore. Because it's only one pair. On your checklist, it says both pairs of opposite sides have to be congruent. Just yell it out. Go. B.
G.
Wait, it's B?
Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. Those are congruent, and those are congruent.
What about F?
But what about G?
What about F? One pair of opposite angles are congruent.
What about G? Yeah, G.
What about G? That's a kite.
And it's just 1 and 2.
Yeah, because
Yeah, kites are
it's not
parallel.
forced.
Wait, all
No,
the
they're
consecutive
trapezoids.
sides are congruent.
No, they're not trapezoids. Quadrilateral.
It's just
They're
consecutive.
them
This is a
flies.
kite. A kite is not a parallelogram.
Oh.
This is
Never mind.
a quadrilateral for all we know. We don't know. And that one's just a quadrilateral too. The answers were B, C, and E. Those were the
That's the
answers.
answers on the quiz?
Number your paper, number scratch paper 1 through 7. In this example, all of these are parallelograms. They are parallelograms. I want you to tell me if they're a rectangle, a rhombus, or neither. So you're going to give me A, B, or C. You're going to number 1 through 7, you're going to put A, B, or C. You want me to call you on one of them? If your card comes up, I will.
Dang it.
I gotta give everyone a chance.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Juan.
It's a rhombus.
I'm gonna give y'all a minute to work on it.
My phone just dropped.
It's okay.
Are you okay?
I heard well. Are you okay?
I don't know. My tummy kind of hurts. Why? It's not funny.
Wait, what if it's both? Maybe you should see the
And it's a square. It's not both.
So,
No, it's not right.
somebody got it.
Emily, you have number 1. John, you have number 2. Allison, you have number 3. Julie is not here. Jenny, you have number 4. Addison, you have number 5. Hassan, you have number 6. And Lauren, you have number 7. Sorry, Caleb. I think I've already called you today.
Oh, wait, no, wait.
You got number 6. You have number 6.
No, I thought I had number 7.
What number does Lauren have?
Number
I
7.
called you
She has
second
number
today
7.
after dinner.
About what?
Probably about the
I know,
properties
right?
of a rhombus.
No.
And you said the diagonals by 7 angles. What?
Oh. Oh, I just raised my hand for that. I thought you just
Well, your
called
card
me.
was up.
Oh, I thought you just called me.
Wait,
Sorry.
wait,
Are these all right,
Wait.
Miss Saul?
wait.
No,
So
they're all
far,
right.
yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
They're all right.
So funny.
Exactly.
Now they're not right.
Yes, because they were all right. I said they're all right.
That's what I thought.
Which one, 7? Yes.
So did you? So you.
I think there's a misstack.
Who's got 4? Jenny.
What?
You had 4.
No.
Caleb, go do 4.
Yeah.
I really have
I didn't. You really did have 4.
no. Yeah.
I'm recording the lesson. I can play that.
You didn't say Jenny. She did, Jenny.
She did say Jenny.
She said Julie's not here. Jenny.
What's C?
Oh. Well, the perfect match.
C.
Yeah.
Possibly be either of them now.
It could be either of what?
Well, I would have gotten
No. But what can we conclude? We can conclude that it's a parallelogram. Okay, so number 1, we already talked about this. You got 1 right angle. In your parallelogram, you have 4 right angles. Therefore, you are a rectangle.
Rectangle.
So number 1 is rectangle. Number 2, the diagonals are bisecting the angles. Whose property is that?
Rhombus.
That belongs to a rhombus. Number 3, the diagonals are congruent, so it's not leaning, it's standing up straight. Which shape is it? Rectangle. Number 4,
Neither.
he didn't get promoted. He is doing the minimum required at his job. He's not going above and beyond, so he doesn't get promoted. He is a plain old parallelogram.
C plus.
He's a boring old
This
twin.
one, all sides congruent. Whose property? Rhombus. This one, ooh, this isn't one of the properties. Quite, not quite. The diagonals are bisected, but that's just parallelogram, so why did it get promoted to a rectangle?
Because they're all equal to each other.
Because they're all equal. I didn't put 2 tick marks, 2 tick marks, 1 tick mark, 1 tick mark. I put 1 tick mark on all of them. So let's make up a number. This is 3, 3, 3, 3. So this diagonal 6. This diagonal 6. The diagonals are congruent. So it's A. Very good. What are we doing next? Not that, not that. Oh, we're just gonna go over. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then we'll do our quiz. We've pretty much already gone over this. Pretty much all done with this, but let's just keep going. If the diagonals of a parallelogram are congruent, then it must be a, Jonathan. Jonathan? Rectangle, because diagonals being congruent is a rectangle's property. Next one. Andrew, if the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect the angles, then it must be a? Yes, rhombus, that's his property, Rom. If parallelogram has 4 congruent sides, then it must be a Derek?
Wrong.
Must be a
Must be a rhombus, very good.
Doing size, yeah.
If the diagonals of a parallelogram are perpendicular and congruent, then it must be a Taylor?
Taylor what? Taylor following you.
Ava?
Or both.
Square, yes, it's both. Very good. So, the diagonals being perpendicular, that makes it a rhombus. The diagonals being congruent, that makes it a rectangle. If it's a rectangle and it's a rhombus, then what is it? A square. If it's a rectangle and a rhombus, it's a square. This was on last night's homework. So it is fair, because it was on last night's homework. Okay, that's all. It's quiz time.
Oh.
Ready?